What's up, everybody? Welcome to EDM Chatters, the news show covering everything that's been happening in our industry this week. From brand new tracks to sensational stories and topics that matter, we're here to fill you in.
I, of course, am one of your hosts, Vincent Beck, producer here at EDM Matters. And with me, as always, is the LA beard guy, the sushi god himself, Matthew Meadow. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing really good, and you mentioned Sushi God. I'm really happy you did that because I felt a little self-conscious doing it myself. Plugging a little side project. Go follow Sushi God on Instagram when he's posting a bunch of the sushi that I get, and hopefully racking up some promo codes that I can go get some free sushi because I love my sushi.
I'm here to help, Matt. You're building a brand. You love to see it.
I do. I mean, and I love sushi even more than brands. So yeah. I think it's a good fit. I mean, I don't know if anyone on on actual EDM Chatters has seen my sushi tattoo, but we got a little sushi guy getting scared because he's getting picked up by the chopsticks.
Look at that little guy.
I take my sushi seriously.
For sure.
I love my sashimi. My nigiri, all that stuff. Yeah, but we've got a great show today. Lots of powerful opinions here. We're going to talk about, first off, we're going to talk about the Chainsmokers show that happened back in July in the Hamptons. It was for charity. It was for a good cause, and all seemed to be going well with the openers. We've talked about this before. The Goldman Sachs CEO opened for the show, but once the Chainsmokers got on stage, I guess you would call it an illicit VIP area sort of opened up in front of the stage without any social distancing. And that's where all the videos came from the show, people calling it out. And it was so egregious that Governor Cuomo of New York and the New York State Department of Health actually opened up an investigation into the show to gauge the extent of the social distancing guideline violation. And that investigation is now over, and the state of New York is now fining the organizers of the show $20,000, which I think is a bit of a slap on the wrist.
Really? You think that?
I mean, yeah. I mean, they raised $152,000 for the show, which, I mean, in and of itself is a bit of a pittance because, I mean, it was in the Hamptons. And the beachfront estate originally built with the family where they were playing was worth $145 million. So $152,000 is what? That's 3 zeros. That's 1,000% less than. Is that how it works? Is that how percentages work? 1,000. Let's go 1,000. It's 1,000 times less than the value of the estate. And people in the Hamptons have money, man. I mean, yeah, the tickets were like $1,000 to $25,000 a pop, and they filled it as much as they could. But I mean, 150. It's I'm 90%
20,000 is a drop in the bucket for these people.
Yeah, not to mention like 152,000 isn't even what they get paid for a show. They get paid way more than that. So yeah, a $20,000
keyword in the story, right? The organizers were fined. Does that include the Chainsmokers?
No, it does not. No, I mean. The whole, I assume the whole reasoning is that the Chainsmokers can't really be found at fault for what the fans do at a show that they're only playing. I mean, that they were a part of the show for sure, but it was the organizers who were at fault for, I guess, they set up the security, they set up the barriers. If they saw people violating social distancing guidelines, it was on them to enforce them. I mean, the Chainsmokers, I suppose, could have, stopped the show and been like, yo, guys, we're really uncomfortable with the amount of congregating that we're seeing in front of the stage here. We're going to need you to back up or we're going to walk off. That would have been one thing. But, I mean, they were there for charity. They must have felt, I mean, they were also probably in the groove of playing a show. I mean, shows hadn't been around for 4 months at that point. I mean, I would have been in the moment kind of just been like, well, we'll take care of that later.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess it is what it is, but at the end of the day, I mean, New York, thankfully, is doing fine now. They've brought down the numbers a lot. But I mean, now we're seeing Florida open up and throw shows. Ghastly did a show at, I believe it was Guilt nightclub in Florida. They were at 75% capacity, and he was getting reamed on social media for that. Yeah. But at the end of the day, those shows are legal. Whether it's a moral thing is up to Twitter, and we've seen what Twitter is capable of, and we learn to take what they say with a grain of salt. But the show was legal. It was conducted legally, and it was at 75% capacity. And I mean, I just want to say, I'm in no way endorsing him playing shows, but at the same time, I'm not saying that he can't, because if they follow the rules, that's up to Florida and their government. That's not up to the court of public opinion. But
most definitely.
Yeah, and I'm sure like everybody else, Ghastly wants to play shows, and people want to go to shows, and at a certain point, maybe. Nah, I'm not even gonna finish that sentence. But yeah, getting back to the Chainsmokers.
It's hard to know.
Yeah,
it's hard to know what the future will hold, but people got to work, man.
Yeah,
we got to figure out a way to bring this stuff back.
Yeah, at the end of the day. I mean,
I can't believe the show was back in July.
Yeah, right.
And they just got fined. What is it? October? October.
I mean, you know how the government moves; it's a snail pace. But I mean, I was thinking, we're halfway through October now, and this show was back in July, and I was talking to a friend about this the other day. This year has gone slow. It has taken so long to get to where we are. So much has happened.
That's slow, so it hasn't moved at all.
Exact. I mean, it doesn't feel like anything has moved. I mean, it's taken so long to get to this point because so much has happened. But at the same time, we're already in fucking halfway through October. Like Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's are around the corner.
Yep.
It's
gone by like a blur.
This year has. I've already missed out on so many opportunities for seeing friends this year, and I mean, as much as I want this year to be over because fuck 2020 low key, I'm not as confident that it won't last, another few months until next year. But I'm hopeful. But that is what it is, and we'll just have to see where the chips fall, where the dices lay. Whatever
day by day.
Day by day. Yes. But speaking of the Chainsmokers, the Billboard Music Awards were this past weekend, and we saw a lot of cool shows. Actually, something that I didn't add to our roster was to our run of show was Deadmau5 did some really dope graphic design, some 3D modeling for St. John. And
really?
I wrote about that today. Yeah. Like he actually did the 3D graphic rendering for St. John's graphics during his performance, which was really dope. But
that's awesome, dude.
Yeah. So I mean, at least Deadmau5 is adding something to his resume. But apart from the performances, I want to talk about the awards themselves, because I was talking with a friend on Twitter about this, one of our presenters on SiriusXM, and man, I mean, okay, so let me bring this up really quick, the tweet that I did, because it wasn't about what we have on the run of show. It was about kind of the show in general. Where is this? Yeah, so I said, wasn't aware that DaBaby, Billie Eilish, Lil Nas X, and Lizzo, and Roddy Ricch were considered new artists, because they were up for the best new artist category. I wasn't aware that any of them were considered new artists. And that's sort of just a gateway into the categories and the winners of this award show, because let me tell you, the dance category was just
abysmal.
It was trash, dude.
Oof.
Okay, so I mean, due respect to all the artists and the winners, top dance electronic artist, the Chainsmokers won. And if this is the Billboard Music Awards, their metrics are based on plays, radio airplay, streaming rates, touring, social engagement, album and digital song sales. So it's a very technical, concrete way of figuring out who the winners are. But that doesn't necessarily always reflect who the winners should be. So the Chainsmokers have been largely inactive for the last year, as as they played a show in July. But I mean, after they finished their World War Joy tour, they weren't really doing much. And they were up against Avicii, who was there for a posthumous nomination, DJ Snake, Millennium, and Marshmello. And first off, it's a main stage wet dream. But
yeah.
But I think, any of them could have walked away with that. And that category, I really, who gives a fuck? I really can't really say much about that one. But the one that really rubbed me the wrong way was the top dance electronic album category. And let me read off who the nominees were for that. There was Tim by Avicii, World War Joy by Chainsmokers, Ascend by Millennium, Different World by Alan Walker. I mean, that was never going to win. But the last category, the last nominee was Marshmello for his Fortnite extended set. Marshmello for a Fortnite set. So
we were talking about this before the show. What does that even mean?
What do you mean? What does it mean? Like
it's just the recorded Fortnite set was put up as an album.
Exactly. So he uploaded his Fortnite set to Spotify, and by Spotify metrics, I suppose it was counted. No, not even that. I'm just talking about his set, which is usually just a set on SoundCloud, or generally more referred to as a compilation. It is, I guess, classified as let me see here. Marshmello Fortnite extended set. Marshmello at Fortnite. That's not the thing. No, you know what? This isn't. Hold on a second. I can't even. Marshmello Fortnite. It's not even coming up as an album. Okay, well now I don't know what to think, but at least someone has this playlist up on Spotify, right. And so maybe it's not an album on Spotify, whatever. But I'm looking through this. There's 27 tracks. It's an hour and 36 minutes. Obviously, he didn't play the full song for the whole set, but 11, I believe, 11 out of these 27 songs are even his. Less than 50%. And he won Best Album for this? Are you kidding me? He was up against Ascend by Millennium. I don't know about you, but I think this is just appalling.
Yeah, it's. I was about to say a shit show, but I can't find a better word.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I just don't even know what to think about this. A Fortnite set. I don't.
No, imagine if Deadmau5 won Best Album for his set at Coachella. What fucking sense does that mean? What sense does that make? If sets are now eligible for Best Albums, someone could just take the best song of everyone's album, put them in a set, and be like, "Hey, Billboard, I got an album for you." You're like, "Cool, let me see it." Well, you're gonna like it because it's everyone else's best songs. They're like, "Sweet, put it on Spotify and you'll win."
Yeah, and at this point, the people, if then they should really be giving. I mean, this is just in the perfect world, but Porter Robinson and Maddie should, or those artists who, or even Glitch Mob actually too. Those artists who played their music live, actually live, and they're flip versions, reconstructed versions of those songs that they play live. You know what I mean? And that should win. I don't know, if this was just a run of the mill DJ set, which I'm thinking it is.
Basically, it was just streamed on Fortnite. It wasn't. Yeah,
it's a huge bummer.
Yeah, It like, let's talk about the precedent that this sets for like other artists,
right?
Yeah, because I mean, we also have like what, Steve Aoki, Dylan Francis, and Diplo doing Fortnite sets. Are they now eligible for best albums too because they put a bunch of songs together from other people? I mean, I hope not. Like, I wouldn't pick it as my top album of the year because it's not a fucking album.
Exactly.
But that was it. That was that. The last category for dance electronic on Billboard was for top song. And again, Illenium was up for this with Good Things Fall Apart with Jon Bellion, which was one of, if not my favorite song of last year. I cried at his EDC set when he played that. It was so good. Mm-hmm. But the winner was Ellie Goulding and Diplo. And again, the winners are chosen based on sales and streaming metrics and airplay. So of course, Ellie Goulding and Diplo is going to be played on the radio more than Illenium and Jon Bellion, which I still argue should have been a top radio hit, a number one radio hit, like, because that song is pop gold. But Kygo and Whitney Houston also nominated for Higher Love for the Whitney Houston posthumous inclusion on that. Black Eyed Peas and J Balvin were nominated for top dance electronic song. I don't understand that, but I guess the whole point in talking about this is just like, people who don't really understand electronic music shouldn't try to make an awards category for it. Like, I don't know. It's just frustrating.
Like you said, it sets a precedent for what EDM music is in the eyes of the mainstream.
Yes. No, that's actually
that is entirely different from what it actually is and what we've experienced in terms of in terms of the culture as a whole, because it is not this.
That's actually a really, really, really good point, is that like the Billboard Music Awards are mainstream as fuck, and they're being streamed to a very mainstream audience. I mean, I don't even know if this one was televised apart from the performances. I didn't pay attention to it. I'm not their audience.
Well, even think about the music itself. It's like it's pop music. It's produced in a way to just get the plays.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that's what these artists have gotten good at doing.
Right.
But I mean, as much as I want to just complain about that,
keep going.
I mean, like dance electronic. I mean, whatever. But
if you have a problem with our opinions, comment below, and we can argue about it.
Give us that engagement, please. We'd appreciate it. But I do want to talk about Hard Summer. One of my favorite festivals is back. It's back. Well, it's back next year, at least. It's coming back July 31st and August 1st. It's always on like the first weekend of August. So nothing has changed there. But something that has changed is it's going to the NOS Event Center in San Bernardino. And this is somewhere that Insomniac is wildly familiar with. They've done a bunch of festivals there, from Audiotistic back in the day, to Nocturnal, to Beyond, to Escape, to Countdown, to whatever. So they know the grounds really well, and obviously they've developed a relationship with the owners of the grounds. So that's cool. I don't know about Hard Summer there. I mean, so again, not again, whatever. This is hard. I was just thinking out loud, just making fun of myself.
Oh.
But this is Hard Summer's 8th venue in 12 years since they started in 2008. They've been at the Shrine. They've been at the Forum. They've been at Los Angeles State Historic Park. They've been at Whittier Narrows. They've been at Glen Helen. They've been at the Fontana Speedway. They've been at the Pomona Fairplex. And now they're at NOS Event Center. I don't know what it is about Hard. I don't know why they can't keep a venue.
They just go too hard, and all the everyone around the area just doesn't like the noise or something. I don't know.
So
it's too damn hard, Matt.
The first 3 venues were because they kept getting bigger. They moved from Shrine to Forum because it was bigger. They moved from Forum to LA State Historic Park because it was bigger. They moved from LA State Historic Park to Whittier Narrows because LA State Historic Park was being renovated. They stayed there for a year, And then they moved to the Pomona Fairplex because, again, it was bigger than the Whittier Narrows, which I actually love that venue. And then 3 people died at Pomona.
Right.
So they did one last Day of the Dead there where it was 21 plus. I think it was the only 21 plus overall hard event they've done. And then they moved from Pomona to the Speedway, which that first year, I think at least one person died and it was hot as shit. So the next year they did it at Glen Helen, where they had held Nocturnal and stuff like that. And that was actually my favorite hard venue. That was really nice. But then they moved it back to Pomona. Yeah. They moved it back to Fontana at the Speedway. So it's been there the last 2 years. It would have been there again this year. And I guess now they're moving to NOS for whatever reason. I don't care. I'm still going to go. I love hard.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's like whiplash. Like just figuring out where, like what venue, like imagine that I just like accidentally drive to Fontana and I'm just like, oh, not here.
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen.
I mean, at least Fontana is like sort of on the way to NOS. So like wouldn't be that big of a deal if I'm like, oh, I just got to go another 30 minutes. But like I can totally see myself doing that. But if you do want to go to hard,
30 minutes in that area would be like during a festival would be like 2 hours or something.
Yeah, that's a
good point. If you think about it.
Yeah, I'd be like an hour and a half later than I want. But going to hard this next year is going to be very affordable. You can get tickets now. They're on sale now. And they're available for just a $10 deposit. So I know money is tight for everyone right now. So if you're looking to go to a festival and you don't have the money to drop right now, they do have layaway plans, and just a $10 deposit secures you that spot. So, I mean, put down the $10. You know, what do you have to lose if you want to go to a festival next year? A lot of festivals are doing layaway plans because they know people don't have the money, like that big chunk of change to spend on a festival ticket right now. So definitely, go ahead, spend $10. Get that spot in line.
Support the industry.
Yeah, support the industry. Support promoters. Support Insomniac so they can do more shows like this, so that we can listen to artists play music that we're listening to on our weekly playlist. We are listening.
You go.
Oh yeah, I wasn't going to mention segues because I've been reprimanded for it, but it was a good segue. But no, we've been listening to a lot of good music, and all of it is available on our weekly picks playlist that is in the description below. And one of them that we've been listening to, obviously one of our favorite artists, as we mentioned him before, Ray Volpe, came out with a new EP on what label is this? I can't remember, and I'm going to be crucified for it if I don't remember, and I'm stalling for time as I'm looking it up. It's on Never Say Die Records. It's on Never Say Die.
Oh shit!
But he came out with it's on Never Say Die. Came out with a double single, Insane and Turbo Kid, and Turbo Kid is definitely it's my favorite one on the album of the pair. It's a phenomenal track, and you know it's got that Ray Volpe style, you know the Ray Volpe sample, but it's almost like a weird step between Moomba and dubstep. Like it has a lot of like squeaky synths in the beginning, and it's really bouncy, and then it kind of transitions into like a deep bass. But the best part of this track is the breakdown at the end, just the rock solo, the guitar. It's so good, and it shows that like Ray Volpe can do this sort of combination style with his tracks that like isn't a typical like just like dubstep. It's like, no, I'm gonna bring you some rock and you're gonna like it, and I do. You
can cross between genres, and I love that ending breakdown. It sounds so good, and in a weird, I don't know why, but the sound engineering that he did for it, it sounded like an anime opening or something for like a third season, and you just wanted to like
feel that
like Naruto run or something, and like do like a finishing move or something for like I don't know. It's a great track.
Yeah, absolutely. And the next one we got is Grizz and Jaws, no doubt.
I love this. I love this track, dude. I was listening to.
Tell us about it.
Oh man, this is like. I don't want to like. I don't. It's not. I'm not even trying to like talk shit or something, but it's like the most ungrizz track I've ever heard. But it's also like one of my favorite tracks from our playlist this week because it sounds like 2010, just like slow dubstep and like it's like it.
I mean, it's funny you mentioned 2010 because Rusko actually did a tweet about it. He was like, "Yo, I've been getting a lot of messages about this. Like, they've got everything. They've got the hits, the claps, the bass. Like, they fucking nailed this." So if Grizz and Jaws get a cosign from Rusko on a 2010 style dubstep track, game over, man. That's all you fucking need. That's all the praise and support that you could ask for right there. So
and it's a great break from what do you like verse build up drop, verse build up double time drop, like type dubstep. This is just like intro drop, like it just
takes away all the
surprised me, and exactly, and it just like hits you with some like great synth samples and a lot of like throwback sounds that I haven't heard in a while.
Exactly, and I think that's the sort of stuff that we're missing. But Kid, K?D did you listened to this, right?
I listened to it before the show when we were getting ready.
So he did a flip of Sicko Mode. He did a flip of the Skrillex remix of Travis Scott's Sicko Mode. And even Skrillex's remix of it, as much as it got played at festivals, it wasn't really party. It wasn't bassy. It wasn't dubstep. It was just kind of, it hit harder. It was it was an embellishment more than a remix. But Kid went fucking nuts on this remix. He went in. He's like, all right, my wall is over there. I'm gonna stick my balls to it. He went balls to the wall.
He put the beer down and he's like,
yeah, literally. Like, this thing is so fucking powerful, and it's like Kid has always done a lot of stuff kind of left field, but one of his like main crutches, so to speak, is a hardcore style, and he definitely put that spin on this remix, and he went in. It hits hard. Like, I don't know if I'd recommend this for home listening. Like, it's a lot, but it just makes me want to go and see this live because holy shit.
Most definitely. And I really like this style from Kid. I feel like he's really coming into his own as an artist. Like, because admittedly, a lot of his earlier tracks were like, just sounded like something you'd hear from Porter Robinson, for example.
A lot of
now he's really getting into this like hard style, like, you know, aggressive like house tracks, which is really cool. And this is this is a great track overall.
Yeah, no, I have nothing bad to say about it. And the last one on our list is this CLB and Formula track called Moving Forward. And I've never heard of either of these artists, and the track is great, but it's not why we're talking about it. We're talking about it because this is the debut release from Space Yacht's new label called Space Yacht. So it's really easy to remember. But
nice.
I mean, after, I think my first Space Yacht was, I don't know, 2015, 2016, like this grungy room in Hollywood. And to see how far this group of people have come, we had Henry on our show as one of our first guests, the co-founder of Space Yacht, all the way back when. And to see how far they've come to now create their own label and not only support the artists they believe in by, you know, giving them spots at their shows, but now to actually put out their music is such a huge thing. And, you know, all the love in the world to Space Yacht, Henry Liu, Rami, London Bridge. You know, congrats, guys, on this huge milestone. We're expecting a lot from you guys, so don't let us down. They've been listening to demos nonstop on their Twitch show, Tune Reactor. So if you ever want to pitch something to them, go to their socials, see when they're streaming, and maybe you can get a spot on their label, because you know if anybody is going to support you, it's Space Yacht, because they got connects.
That's awesome. And it's a great track too. I love it.
It is a great track. And also, quick mention, they could have picked anybody to for their first release, but no, they chose to support drum and bass for their very first release. And as a drum and bass head, man, I can't tell you how much that I appreciate that, by putting that out to the masses and showing everybody that drum and bass still has a place in the US, that it still is. It's still rocking. It means a lot. Like, you could have picked anything. You chose drum and bass track. Mad respect, man. Absolutely. But that does it for us here at EDM Chatters. You can check out all of these tracks and more in the EDM Matters Spotify Weekly Picks playlist. I hope you enjoyed our ramblings and maybe learned a thing or two. I know, I learned a thing or two when I go through our script. I really do learn, and you help me learn.
Same.
But don't forget to like and comment on this video and subscribe to our channel if you want more exciting EDM content from us. We will see you in the next one. Cheers, guys. Bye, Vince.
Follow Sushi God.
Follow Sushi God. Yeah.